And welcome guys, selamat datang guys. Jangan lupa untuk like and share dan selamat bersahur geng. Dan lepas sahur Legend saya punya live stream yang tak seberapa nak gempak sangat. So Sherlock Holmes yang episod keempat. Kita let's go. Benda sama je. Kita sambung balik yang
I agree with a wax seal with the monogram E.B. I can tell from Lestrade's handwriting that he was in a hurry when he wrote this letter.
ada, tak payahlah bagi warning.
The Brackenstall.
My dear home, I should be glad of you if you did president in what promises to be most remarkable case. Okay then.
So, what is it, Holmes?
Promising, as always. It appears to be a case of murder.
So you believe that Sir Eustace is dead?
I should say so. Lestrade wouldn't have sent for me for less. His writing shows considerable agitation, and he is not an emotional man. These people belong to high society. The quality of the writing paper, the E.B. monogram, their coat of arms. The crime was committed before midnight.
Holmes, how can you possibly tell?
Well, it is all thanks to Lestrade. He wrote his letter at 3:30 in the morning. Imagine the chain of events before that. The local police had to be called in. Scotland Yard was notified. Lestrade himself had to make haste there, and finally compose the letter he sent to me. All of that makes for a fair night's work.
It makes sense. Lestrade also speaks of the woman he released.
That seems to indicate that she had been held somewhere during the crime. Much time has been wasted. Let us find a cab and go to Abbey Grange immediately. I live in hope of an interesting morning.
Ni mesti kita AB Garage. Yeah, it's nice to do. Okay, let's go to AB Garage. Junction to the but not move, double move.
Ah, Mr. Holmes and Dr. Watson, here you are. I'm very glad that you have come, but perhaps I should not have troubled you after all.
And why is that?
Lady Brackenstall has come to her senses, and she has given so clear an account of the affair that there is not much left for us to do. You remember that Lewisham gang of burglars?
What, the three Randalls?
Exactly. The father and two sons. It's their work. They stole a silver service, which is of great value.
Sir Eustace Brackenstall is dead, then?
Yes. His head was knocked in with his own poker.
A violent act of aggression.
Yes, the poor lady. She has had a most dreadful experience. She was assaulted and tied to a chair. But I think that you would best see her and hear her account of the facts. She's in the morning room with her maid, Teresa Wright.
Where is the body of the deceased?
In the dining room. We haven't touched anything.
All right, I'm going to examine it.
Very good, Watson.
Lady Brackenstall...
Sir Warthen Brackenstall.
Lul.
Lord Brigham Brackenstall. Lord Ramsay Brackenstall.
How many Brackenstall?
Lady
Baron Lyndon Brackenstall.
How many Brendan and whatever?
Lady...
Just wait,
Lord George Bracken. Lord...
Gila Brackenstall.
Ladies, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm assisting Inspector Lestrade in this investigation.
Mr. Holmes, I am the wife of Sir Eustace Brackenstall. We were married only a year ago.
I am sorry for your loss. Please accept my deepest condolences.
I suppose that it is no use my attempting to conceal that our marriage has not been a happy one. I fear that all would tell you that, even if I were to attempt to deny it.
Alright. Bruce. Very well, very well. Cantik kat dia punya ni. Talk chic. Goblin, kangaroo and emu Australian origin. Ooh. Elegant dress. Double check. Aku takut I miss something. The ring. All bruises.
Can you describe to me the events of yesterday evening?
Is it really necessary? I have already told Inspector Lestrade all that happened.
Yes, madam, it is.
I will tell you then. Sir Eustace retired about 10:30. I sat in this room until after 11, absorbed in a book. Before I went upstairs, I entered the dining room to fetch a candle and... Oh God.
Please, go on.
As I approached the French window, I found myself face to face with an elderly, broad-shouldered man who had just stepped into the room. Close behind the first man, I saw two others. One of them struck me a savage blow with his fist and felled me unconscious to the ground.
And then?
When I came to myself, I found that they had secured me tightly to a dining room chair. It was at that instant my unfortunate husband entered the room.
He fought with the intruders?
Yes, I think he had heard them, for he was holding his stick. But they were three, and he eventually succumbed. One of them, the elder one, struck him a terrible blow with the poker. I fainted once more. When I opened my eyes, they had withdrawn. Then my brave Teresa came to my assistance.
You mentioned that your marriage was not a happy one. Was there anything specific that was troubling you?
He was not a nice man when he was drunk, and he suffered from dark moods, but nothing else.
The bruises on your hands are at least 1 week old. Your husband caused those bruises?
Oh, do you... Yes, he did. He was very angry at the time. Out of control. Again. Sir Eustace was a drunkard. To be tied to such a man for life is worse than death.
Did these three villains steal anything?
Yes. I found that they had taken the silver from the sideboard, but you can see for yourself in the dining room.
Your ladyship?
Yang dia bela semua. Yang cuma item yang boleh ambil satu. Time finished removing the Render gang is back on the street less than a fortnight ago. This is a fortnight ago. It's infamous having a bug lah. The Renders as they know make their improving plans by to us. Oh, biarlah.
The description of the Randall gang provided by Lady Brackenstall is identical to the one in the Times article.
Betul. Di dalam artikel ni ada. Ya, mana yang double check dulu.
This photograph of Lady Brackenstall and her maid Teresa was taken at a port, but which one? So the lady and her maid came from Australia a year and a half ago on this ship.
118 and 193. Alright. Sekurang-kurangnya bagilah aku petunjuk. Oh, Daisy.
These scratches are most definitely made by the picture frame. This is Sir Eustace's safe. There may be something important inside. I must ask Lady Brackenstall to open it. This... Teresa, I would like to hear your testimony.
Certainly, sir.
Well, let's see her expectation. I hope wrinkles. Double check the mesmerization, carrying, working hands. Oh, nice. Coffee stain.
As I sat by my bedroom window, I saw 3 men in the moonlight down by the lodge gate. But I thought nothing of it at the time. Oh, if I'd known.
And then?
I went to bed, and it was more than an hour after that I heard my mistress scream. And down I ran, to find her tied to the chair and him on the floor with his head smashed. That's all I know.
Oh, okay.
Lady Brackenstall, could you open this wall safe?
No, it is my husband's safe. I do not know the combination.
We have to open it. Your ladyship?
Ini kalau aku bantai agak-agak je macam boleh hafal.
Let us... This safe can be cracked. I only have to pay attention. The dial will vibrate when it is set to the correct number.
Macam mana ni? Yo, Syafiq Latif dia kasi follow. Ah. Jap. Kalau aku hafal sikit dan apa nombor dia bagi. Ada di ikut tahun. Oh. Macam mana nak crack ni misteri dengan senang. Macam tu lah jawapannya. Okay, pantai je. Seriously, physical, mental, or still good considered as a sign of hepatic discompensation. The last time that we met, your eyes were bloodshot and your skin was pink with yellow. The particular outer from your bright scalp.
It is common practice to keep one's valuables in a safe behind a painting. It should not really pose a challenge for a criminal. Antique coins, possibly of value, but they're scattered without care.
Cantik. Yuhuu.
Sir Eustace's doctor speaks of his violent behaviour.
Yes, Sir Eustace was an extremely violent man. A detestable human being, to be more precise. It is true that he once threw a decanter at me, and all because I dared to stand up to him in defence of my mistress. Sly devil. God forgive me that I should speak of him so now that he's dead. but a devil he was. If ever one walked the earth. We met him only 18 months ago. She'd only just arrived in London. Yes, it was her first voyage. She'd never been from home before. Wonder with his title and his money and his false London ways. If she made a mistake, she has paid for it, if ever a woman did. She doesn't have any friends here, so it was especially hard for her.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
No. Okay. Nah, no. Sure about that. Dari testimoni daripada mate tu sendiri pun kita boleh tahu dah.
My mistress is very tired.
What do you know about Sir Eustace, Inspector? What was his reputation?
A charming man when sober, but an absolute demon when he was drunk. In such moments he was apparently capable of anything. Why, once he splashed fuel on Lady Brackenstall's dog and set it alight. Another day he threw a decanter of wine at Miss Wright's head.
The alcohol seemed to madden him.
To the point that we were forced to intervene several times to avoid a scandal.
No. Identify to no.
The body is still in the dining room where the murder took place.
You should examine the body of Sir Eustace Brackenstall.
Shoot. Ting ting. Oh, ni ada. Oh, inilah
The
nama dia.
hunting scene. A hunter's cabin.
Asal ini dia semua pasal hunting Brackenstall.
So, Watson, what have you learned from examining Sir Eustace's body?
Well, I can confirm that the death was instant. Sir Eustace was facing his attacker when he received the blow to his head. There are no other apparent injuries.
It appears that the bell rope was cut by someone taller than me. A fur trader's cabin. A hunter scene.
Kalau ni game ni semua apa?
Quite a large stick. A formidable weapon. Barefoot. He had therefore been in bed and did not have time to fully dress. That must be the murder weapon. The head was cracked with the force of the blow. Quite a large. It is covered in blood. Sir Eustace might have struck his head upon it while falling from the blow. That is one possible explanation.
Too early though, too early.
A deer hunt. A fur trader's cabin. The hunting scene. The hunt. These wine. This candlestick is valuable. It is interesting that it was not also stolen. An empty... This candlestick... This... The... An...
Sekejap ada lagi satu ni aku rasa. Macam apa?
These... This...
Si candlestick tu apa? Wah.
An empty... An empty silverware box.
Tak apa, kejap lagi aku check.
A decanter stand. This glass has some wine traces, but no visible beeswing. Chateau. There is beeswing at the bottom, as if the wine had not been decanted before being poured. This glass... It is rather strange that only one of these glasses has dregs of beeswing inside it, while the other two are clear. Sailor's knots. That's interesting. This rope was handled by the murderers. We need a scent hound to follow their trail. I will take it with me. This is the chair that Lady Brackenstall was tied to.
Kita combine dulu. For me, kalau situation macam ni memang ada ni. Tapi kenapa?
This
Sepatutnya ada. Oh my god. Where is it lah? Supposedly.
and these
I'm still confused about it.
This door leads to the upstairs bedrooms. Apparently this door...
The death was instant.
A trapper's hut.
tak bagi pula scene ni dulu Nanti tiba pula mencari kat sini balik. Kita kena ikut dalam storyline jugalah. So that's why kalau nak sambung scene mungkin.
The Brackenstall family appear to be preoccupied with hunting.
Ya, sideboard. Tapi apa lagi wait, what did I just...
This camp... An empty...
Double check. I'm just like tekan-tekan dulu.
This.
Yep, I never saw anything here. I could not open all the armory.
An empty... This...
I've searched outside for footprints.
There are 3 glasses on the dining room table. I was wondering if...
Oh, I forgot. When I came to myself the first time, each of them had a glass in his hand. They might have been a father and his 2 sons. They talked together in whispers, and then they left.
What?
Your ladyship?
Please.
Aku rasa aku dah expect lah. Oh my god. What should I expect there? Oh my god, help me. Okay.
An empty silverware box. It appears that the intruders have stolen the contents.
It should like that lah kot. Dia kena ni dulu cause the camera. I could not move in the large way. Even I could not pull any of this armory.
This
Yep. Tu dia tak boleh. I'm still not really confirmation about this. We go to the bigger street back.
Someone should take Toby for a walk.
Let us see how the rope was cut. Let us try to find out what tool. The fibers from this.
Ah. Oh, maybe cut too.
The fibers.
What? Maybe knife. Seriously.
If I cut the rope with a knife, it.
Just knife. Oh, I need to do as a seller. Yeah, cause they are using Sherlock knives should be.
Come on, Toby. We need the best nose in the British Empire on this case.
Aw.
I agree.
Let's go with Toby. Meow, meow.
Search, Toby.
Alah, nak juga jadi anjay. Ketuk, 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 ketuk. Buka dulu, open sesame. Ketuk, 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 ketuk. Comel lagi. Kalau anjing ni lebih macam bulldog punya style. Lari dia tapukan.
The intruders entered the shed for some reason when they were making off with the silverware. The scent leads to the well. I should check it. The intruder's trail is lost behind this wall. The criminals left the house through the French window. They walked to the shed, then across to the well, before fleeing by climbing over the wall. I wonder why they chose such a winding route. Brave Toby, the best nose in the British Empire. Bags of... This... small guy... This old suit... There's something... If only I had... the wheel... If only I had something with which I could lift that object. Silverware. This is hardly a coincidence. The Brackenstall coat of arms. It appears that we have found the... The hunt?
Double check.
And this...
Oh my god, what the fish? Why it doesn't connect at all? Okay, let's go restaurant. Kita belajar.
Inspector, I have recovered the stolen silverware.
You are a wizard, Mr. Holmes. And where is it?
In the garden well.
Excuse me?
Unique, isn't it?
Rather absurd. What is the point of stealing silverware and then throwing it down into a well?
Perhaps it was used as a temporary hiding place, or simply the thieves wanted to get rid of it. It is up to us to solve this mystery.
Holmes,
We found your silverware, Lady Brackenstall. It had not been taken very far.
Is that true? I am very thankful to you, Mr. Holmes.
Your ladyship? We found your mistress's silverware.
Oh, that's good news. You really are as clever as they say.
Indeed.
Season archive. Apa yang kena inspect dekat kedai dulu? At least dia orang bawa Toby balik. Kita pergi ke archive.
This.
Pada tahun apa? 143.
My...
Wrongly bought a ship. Oh.
Here it is. The shipping company, the Adelaide, Southampton, London line, and its address. Interesting. It must be the place where they keep the records, including the one for the crew of the Rock of Gibraltar.
I think that if you pretend you're from Scotland Yard, they'll give it to you without any problems.
But I have another solution. I'll call in the specialist.
Who should you call? Ah. Bruh.
Wiggins, could you come upstairs, please?
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
I need a register, my young friend. If you could borrow it, there will be half a guinea for every one of you. I need the crew list of the Rock of Gibraltar in 1893, and their current employment.
I'm straight on it, Mr. Holmes.
Do you really think they'll find it, Holmes?
My secret police is better than the Yard in many ways.
Here it is, Mr. Holmes. But we can't take it back. It's too risky.
Put it on the table. I'll take care of it. Good work, young Wiggins.
I left it right on the table for you, sir.
Which table? 2 minutes table. You should mention it. Oh, there you go.
This list shows the senior officers of the Rock of Gibraltar, on which Lady Brackenstall and her maid made their voyage. Lady Brackenstall does not know anyone in England. This must mean that someone on this list is our mysterious visitor. And these are the lists of the senior officers of the Adelaide, Southampton, London Line ships. Let us find out who was in London upon November the 7th.
No, November 7th.
This list... I do not think that This officer was on a ship that sailed half a month ago. He wasn't in London at the time of the crime. Mr. Jack Crocker was in London upon the date of the crime, and he is due to depart in 2 days.
Yang bawah tu tak ada function. Oh, itu cuma tarik.
This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved. This officer was on a ship that sailed half a month ago. He wasn't in London at the time of the crime. This officer was on a ship.
Oh, aku buat tekan bawah.
Mr.
Oh, yang ini. Dah baca.
This officer was.
Oh, ni yang benda sama siut. Cek Crocker, okey. Lagi satu.
This officer is still at.
Ya, mana Crocker?
This Crocker, do you think...
It would be interesting to meet him. Our young friend should be able to find him. Wiggins, could you find a way to bring this Captain Crocker here to us?
Here? Holmes, that could be dangerous.
No problem, Mr. Holmes.
Sometime later, bruh. Budak ada lagi hello katanya.
Mr. Holmes, I was informed that you were looking for me, and I'd like to know why.
Yes, it is important that we talk. You will soon understand why.
Alright. Look, harness. Okay then. This way unexpected. And did I miss something here? Oh, strong build. Wait a minute. Wow, aku expect orang pun macam lama sangat dah. Kenapa ni? Si knife. Chakpa.
You are acquainted with Lady Mary Brackenstall, are you not?
Yes, I think I do remember her. From when I was first officer, but I still don't see...
It seems your relationship went beyond that of mere passenger and first officer.
How dare you?
Indeed, how reckless a feeling is love, particularly if one is prepared to commit a murder in its name.
Explain yourself this instant.
You are aware that the murder made the headlines of the morning press. You read the newspaper report, but to your dismay, found it much fabricated. Once you learned that I wanted to see you, you came straight away. You needed to know what I had found.
You... and what do you know?
That evening, you were with Lady Brackenstall, despite the danger.
I'm not afraid, Mr. Holmes. Besides, all of this is just guesswork.
You would be right, if there was no evidence.
What then?
Lady Brackenstall was tied to a chair on the night of the murder. And it was you who tied her up.
You call that evidence?
Yes, as she was tied with a sailor's knot. Your handiwork.
So, it's a sailor who's done it. That proves nothing, Mr. Holmes. I'm not the only sailor in London right now. Your theory is flawed anyway. On the night of the murder, I was aboard the Sharp. I was supervising the repair of a porthole.
At night?
It was an emergency. There was a leak. You can ask the ship's carpenter. He can confirm.
I'm sure that he can.
Perfect. In that case, we have nothing more to talk about. Good evening, gentlemen.
Holmes, what should we do now? Would you like to check his alibi?
No. There is no doubt that these men will testify in his favor, and there will be no way to check.
So, what then?
So, we must work with what we have. We have all the puzzle pieces.
Now I understand why you dissected the bell rope.
Okay, double check the Abbey got satu je lagi missing. Satu je. Tiba kau dah soft pun macam hijau perangai. Okay, gang. Go ke Power Ranger.
The hunt? A bottle? The criminals did not thoroughly ransack the house. They only took a little silverware. Hunter scene.
Yep, all about this seller actually. Cepat juga misteri case solve. Memang pelik. Let's go. Let's see the scene next.
Wiggins, could you ask Mr. Crocker to come here again, please?
Right away.
Why did you make me come here again, Mr. Holmes?
It is over. I know that it was you who killed Sir Eustace Brackenstall.
What?
I know because of the height at which the rope was cut. The knife used was a sea knife. The knots were sailor's knots, and not least the sheer force that was put behind the killing blow. And because you are the only one who knows Lady Mary Brackenstall in London. And because you love her.
It's true.
It is time for you to tell us the whole truth.
I admit that I loved Mary madly from the first day that I met her. But I never did come to visit her, for I believed that she was in a happy household. When I talked to her maid, who told me everything, I was insane with rage. I was due to set sail for 6 months away. I wanted only to see her again. But it turned into a damnable nightmare when he barged in. He dared raise his hand to her. He was not even worthy of licking her boots. Oh, I regret nothing. I admit I killed the monster out of love for her. She will forgive me if she is able.
Lady Brackenstall already forgave you. She said nothing.
Mary.
But that makes her an accomplice as well as her maid. It places her in danger yet again.
Mr. Holmes.
You would not have managed to protect her.
Till I die, do you hear me? Here is a letter that sets everything clear, and it is the one that should be disclosed to the police. I am the only culprit. Mary had nothing to do with it. Now it is time to end this.
Dia nak tombok lagi ke dia?
You should have let me die. How can I live if Mary suffers?
I am sorry, Captain Crocker, but there has been quite enough death in this case. Inspector, I give you Sir Eustace's killer. He tried his best to perform his own justice.
Well, I'm not surprised. Yes, it was me. I confess.
Here is a piece of evidence that can be used in court.
Perfect. A case that went smoothly for once.
I know you're going to make yourself very terrible, but you already make it a already terrible thing. So yeah, more choice 90%. Aduh, kesiannya, janganlah macam tu. Hai, ada adik kena.
Holmes, for heaven's sake, whatever's going on?
Oh, hello, Watson. You're early. Did you kill all of your patients?
What? Holmes, where have all these wretched bees come from?
I increased the temperature of the room so as to prevent them from hibernating. I needed to take a sample of honey. But it worked, Watson. We will have honey all year round.
Ridiculous and dangerous.
They're domestic bees, Apis mellifera, such industrious workers. Anyway, Watson, I am sorry, but I must leave you. I'm in rather a hurry.
You have a new case?
Yes, but nothing as thrilling as this experiment. A theft of plants at the Royal Botanic Gardens in Kew. I'm helping a minister who's an old friend of mine. You can join me if you like.
Well, I'll admit that I'd far rather accompany you than remain alone here with these workers of yours. Besides, you'll need a helping hand with the flowers you're intending to bring back.
Watson, however did you guess?
For the great Sherlock Holmes to bother with the theft of plants. Come on, admit that you're planning to spoil your little bees with some rare pollens.
Since when did I become so transparent? Let us go.
Okay lah, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching pemirsa, dan tunggulah episod yang akan seterusnya. Bye bye. Thank you so much for follow. Thank you so much for the like, share, dan thank you so much for the subscribe. Bye bye. Pemirsa now.